the tuna balls, one of my favorite, sold at the coolest market, and it is super versatile. You can use it for your whole body, but we're going to focus on the feet. It is very important to understand that we have to allow the foot to absorb the sensation of it. Okay, the skin stretching is very important. So before I put this ball under my foot, I'm going to demonstrate a couple things about the foot. So if I find my tripod here, I'm thinking of my big toe joint, the baby toe joint, and the heel. So I'm going to focus on those three spots, connect the dots like a tripod. The toes are lifted at the moment. I'm going to spread the toes out and stretch the skin. You can see how wide my forefoot becomes. Okay. Now, this is what's happening when we place our feet in shoes, but because the shoe can be restricted and the design of the shoe is restricted and narrow in the front, it will affect your function of your foot. And it's going to, I usually say your foot is in an ice box. It kind of falls asleep. Okay? So basically, from there, my foot is already warming up. You're going to get the sensation that your foot is kind of stuck on the ground. And if I were to bend my front knee slightly, keep my other foot lined up straight, this is your typical functional movement. Because that's how you set up for walking. So why don't I train my feet in a functional position? So I'm going to press the tips of my toes straight down, and that's going to activate the arch of my foot, and that's called short foot. I'm not sure if you've heard of it before. It's called short foot. Super effective for getting you connected from the ground up. Abdominals. Transverse abdominals are the muscles that pulls your rib cage inwards to the center, right? TVA. And pelvic floor is when you are thinking of the floor of your pelvis moving upwards, and a very, very, very small motion, very subtle sensation. You don't want to be working very hard. So 20%, I want you to remember 20%. So I'm pressing my tips of my toes down, 20%. And my transverse ab muscle and pelvic floor, I'm contracting at 20%. And then I switch leg, do the same thing on the other side. And you practice that on a daily basis, and you will start to get better connection. Once I've got the connection, I'm going to start by placing the ball under my big toe line and just gently rolling it. There is a tendency to roll the ball with too much pressure on it. Be careful, because if you put too much pressure on the ball, the brain's going to send a sensation that you need to protect. Because if your tissues are not organized very well, so the fascia may not be as healthy at the moment, you need to be very gentle. So I'm running the ball along the line of each toe. So I got 5 passes from big toe to baby toe. I can do it about 5 times and then switch leg. And at that point, my foot will be nicely warmed up. Then from there, I'm going to place the ball under the trigger points of my foot. Okay? So basically, I would sit the ball in the middle of the ball of my foot. If I would take a pen, I just draw a spot there. And I will stand on that spot with the heel on the ground. If that's too much pressure for me, I can sit down, take some pressure off. If that's not enough pressure, I can bring the back foot forward even further forward to get more pressure and even a bit more stretch in the Achilles. That's number one. Okay. Number two would be the middle of my arch, right there. So I'm going to pin the ball in the middle of my arch and then add some weight to that. I relax the toes, just allow the toes to just curve over. Again, if I want more weight, I put my right foot beside it. Feel free to hold onto a wall, and that feels amazing. The third one would be where the plantar fascia comes in. So it's a bit more on the inside of the heel and where the arch comes towards the heel, right there. So now I'm going to put my toes down. Put the toes down. Part of the ball, I should be able to see the ball sticking out on the inside. And I can add more pressure. And just so you're wondering how long can I hold that for? Start with 30 seconds and just work up towards 1 minute. Okay? From there, I'm going to move up to the inside of the arch, right in the middle. And that could be a sensitive spot for many people, so be very gentle. And you may notice that my right foot, it's turned out, that gives me some stability. Okay? So that's number 4. I'm going to go to number 5, which is going to be on the other side. So it's called the outer arch, where the baby toe line comes in, and this is where, again, some of us could be quite tender there. So the ball is going to stick out on the side. And just go very gentle, because if you're someone who tend to roll your foot quite a bit like that or collapse in like that, you can be very sensitive there. So be careful. So the heel is down and relax the toes. That's number 5. The last one is where the big toe joint, sorry, that was number 6, this is the last one. The big toe joint comes in towards the arch, okay? So right there. And that's where one of the major muscles, that's why it's called the great toe, right? The big toe. To activate that big toe, that muscle is getting, that trigger point is getting that muscle right there. And that's the muscle that when I do the short foot, and I press the toes down, you will see a bit of movement here. And for running, when you push off that big toe joint in conjunction with the second toe is where you want to be able to have that stability. Okay? So that's why these trigger points are very good for the feet. You can always finish up again with 5 passes. Okay? And just by me doing a few seconds in each one of those points, this foot feels a lot lighter right now than this foot. Okay? Thank you very much.